don't you guys think the Marcus Rashford hate has gone a little bit too beyond? Because there's many other players that have done a lot worse and have received a lot less. Now, I'm not exactly saying that Marcus Rashford is going to be a world beater or he deserves to be at Manchester United, but people forget about what influences he has on the young players as well. And you're going to say, oh, you know, he goes out, he parties, he does this, he does that. I'm just kind of getting tired and sick of it. Players want to go enjoy their lives. I hear it. You're having a rubbish time. Guess what? What do you do when you have a rubbish time? You go out and have a good time. That's the way it works. Whatever you want to do in terms of with your money, how you want to eat, how you want to live, if you want to go on holiday. Look, I'm not going to say I'm being exactly the saint around this issue, because I've been a part of that clique that hated on Marcus Rashford and everything he's done, good riddance, blah, blah, F him, can't be asked. Look, I've been a part of that. And then you realise that, you know what? You're pretty much wrong. He wants to go to Barcelona. He's blocked a move for Ollie Watkins because he didn't want to go to Aston Villa. He wants the best situation for him. Now, if that can get done, that's another matter. That's down to Manchester United to prove that they're competent, aka Ineos, in moving him on. But every time I go online, this man doesn't even need to kick a ball, let alone go to a boxing match, even when Anana has to come out. And not I'm talking about DeAndre, I'm talking about Amadou. I'm talking about everyone was at the boxing, but who gets the most stick? Him. And he was injured. Do you get what I mean? It's just things like that. And I'll go on Twitter today, and it's the exact same things over and over again. Anytime there's a bit of news regarding Rashford, slate him, and it's going a bit too, it's a bit too much. You're going to tell me, oh, but what about Scott McTominay? What about him? He doesn't even receive an inch of what Marcus Rashford ever did. Oh, we played for the badge. What? Because he runs. Oh, Lord, give me strength. I'm not here to have a go at you guys. I just want to enlighten you to what I believe is an actual situation. You know, footballers are humans, and I get it. We get onto them with their footballing ability. If they don't score goals, you know, how do they respond, and etc. etc. I understand all of that. And yeah, there might be times where I go beyond, and I say a bunch of stupid stuff, but that's just me being an absolute knobhead. And I see a bunch of knobheads getting onto this man. Look, I don't think he's had the greatest spell at Aston Villa. It's up to you to decide that. I don't think his time at Manchester United was actually entirely down to him. I think Man United wanted to get rid of him regardless, not Amorim. They wanted him off with his wages. It was kind of obvious the way he went so quick, even after scoring a goal. Actually, I think he might have scored a few goals under Amorim, if I'm correct, before he put out that whole video that he wanted to leave. He put the video out. And now we're trying to go his separate ways, and yet we're still giving him stick. When what? He is still one of our own. And that's what I don't understand. You know, I hear it. McTominay was one of our own. But I don't remember him getting as much stick near Rashford, to be honest. And he was absolutely crap for a lot of games. But that's not the point. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying it goes beyond that. And with the whole thing with Rashford, a lot of us, if you ever saw him in person, I think a lot of us would get giddy that we get to meet him, spud him, give him a handshake, or get a picture with him, let alone a video. I think he can still be definitely useful. You know, someone needs to put an arm around him. But the thing is, it's got so toxic within the fan base and obviously with him himself. You know, I can't imagine how much hurt he's going through. We're so entitled to believe that he owes us something when really and truly, we don't. He doesn't owe us anything. But here we are. And I mean, this is a little reminder. We saw this little kid called JJ Gabriel. I think his name is I don't know. He's tipped to be the next Neymar Ronaldo. You know, 14 years of age, getting an under 18 debut, all of that, blah, blah, blah. And people forget what kind of influence he has around the camp. Because I got this video and I thought this was such a nice touching video. And I think it was only a couple years ago, right? But if you ain't seen it, this is what it is.
His first registration with Humanizing, and the last week, a bit of a welcome to the club, JJ.
Thank you.
Hi, mate.
Hi, Rashford.
Hi, mate. You alright?
Yeah. What was it again?
What's your question, JJ? We can see you.
What encouraged you from the under 9 to under 16 to be a professional footballer?
What was that? Sorry, I can't hear you. Go on, say it again, JJ.
What encouraged you from under 9 to under 16 to be a professional footballer?
Oh, okay. Did you get that?
football fan, big United fan, all the coaches that as time goes on they become friends, and they're pushing you every single day in training. And what I'd say is you have to enjoy that journey as getting to the top. And I won't change a thing about how it developed and how we developed. What they actually did, I won't change a thing about it the whole way. And it can definitely be tough at times.
Anyways, if you've seen that, then there you go. If you was listening to it properly before, you might have tuned off. But what I'm trying to get at is there's so much good about him that people tend to forget. What have we done beforehand? I know the past is the past, Prime Minister jokes, all of this stuff, and that the guy's still a talent though. The guy's still trying to get on with his life, and yet every single day the guy receives hate after hate after hate. It's got to get nipped in the bud at some point. Like, when are we going to come together as a fan base? It's so toxic at the moment. 1 minute we're happy, the next minute we're not. I'm a part of that. Hands up, sure, why not? But it's like, let the man live. He's going to go elsewhere. He's going to score goals. And we're going to get hate watchers on him. Every time he makes a mistake, it's going to get highlighted. And it's not even going to get highlighted from a rival. It's going to come from us lot. Let's see, I'm not his biggest fan anymore. I understand that. I don't even know if he should be in Manchester, realistically, because in terms of footballing wise anyways. But I think he's going to go elsewhere and he's going to bang. He is the man. When it comes down to scoring goals, if you put a good team around him, he's gonna succeed. But it's just like, it's the same thing. Even around Bruno Fernandes, I'm not his biggest fan. But he's one of our better players, and yet he receives mad abuse as well. Nowhere near to the scale of Marcus Rashford. I think we should all calm down a little bit when it does come to, like these younger players especially. But when it gets a little bit older, obviously you can judge them as you see fit, on the pitch. Garnacho, look what he's been doing recently. I think it's a little bit warranted with his antics. He's just taking a piss, isn't he? But even then, I don't really care. We shouldn't really care because no one even wants him at the club anyways, let alone Marcus Rashford. So if you don't want him, why should we be bad? It's like, just let him go do his thing. Garnacho wants to leave. Yeah, we already know that. He got literally sent to the gulag. Who cares? Same kind of thing. The amount of what this Manchester United has done in the last, 12, 13 years, Marcus Rashford might be one of the best things to come out of the Manchester United Academy. It probably has been. Winning a couple trophies along the line, a few trophies to be fair. He's been a part of that in our worst era. It's just a shame he wasn't a part of our great era, because if he did have a great players around him, I'm pretty sure we would be getting much, much better out of him in terms of output, let alone performances. Part of the toxic environment. This is what happens when you have a downgraded ship when it used to be the absolute Titanic. It's rubbish. It's sinking. And at the moment, we're trying to fix that. We just don't know how good the patchwork really is. I think Rashford, when it comes to his 300 grand packet, I'm pretty sure we're going to hear that. Oh, when you're on 300 grand a week, we expect more. Yeah, we can expect more, but it doesn't mean he expects abuse. Over and over again, no matter what he posts, to the point he has to turn comments off. It's a joke. This is the reality we've become as humans in this flipping sporting society. But yeah, and then now there's other channels, no names, aka Golden, sorry. When it does come down to this, he's leading the charge, influencing people, making out like he's the worst thing since sliced bread, whilst he backs the man who was getting leaked info to us lot pretty much every match day, but yet backing him. But no one sees a problem with that, let alone doing stuff with flipping Hoyland or anything like that. It's mental. It's mental how quick the narrative can shift and an agenda can get pushed. I'm not going to say I'm not here to police you lot at the end of the day, But I think we could do better, especially just ourselves. Imagine it was you. Imagine you was in that position. Oh, what if I had 300 grand a week? I'll do this. It's so easy to, I'd do that and do this. But when there's like an absolute hate brigade coming from certain places, which is a huge influence on our fan base, someone's going to lead the charge and it's going to grow, isn't it? Like a cancer. Like a whole cancer. And it doesn't get called out enough. There's some good stuff that comes from that way, but there's a lot of bad as well. And I'm not saying this is exactly perfect, but it's a lot more better. I promise you that, in terms of keeping your head on and making sure you don't go overboard. I've come a long way. I think we all have. But I think Marcus Rashford still has to come a long way. Let him get back on his feet. Let him do his thing. That's it. Anyways, remember, he's one of our own. It's easy as that. Garnacho, he's not one of our own. He came for a couple years in the academy. Who gives a fuck? And even then, he don't help his situation. But it doesn't mean we go and abuse him, innit? In terms of football, you can boo his footballing ability. But the time when some people start getting racist and start pushing certain words, even if it is to Garnacho, that's when you draw the line, man. Relax. Relax. Anyways, next video, something a little bit more positive. In a bit, smash the like.